Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, March 2nd, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, there may have been a algorithm update brewing, or has brewed or is brewing starting March 1st and March 2nd. There was some discussion about it at the Webmaster World Forum. Some people saying, yeah, there was a massive update. Some people saying, no, there was nothing. And the tools are saying the same thing. Some are showing absolutely normal fluctuations. This was yesterday. That's Mozcast. SERP metrics, again, normal. AccuRanker showing a bit of a spike March 1st and 2nd. Rank Ranger showing a spike on March 1st. SCM Rush showing the spike on March 2nd, not March 1st. Alguru showing all the same normalness. And also Advanced Web Ranking showing all the same normalness. So it's unclear if there was an update or if there is an update going on or what's going on exactly. Maybe it's specific to some niches. Maybe Google tested something, rolled it out, pulled it back. Maybe it was nothing at all. It's very hard to know for sure. But it's definitely not a massive, all-around update for everybody. Google announced this week that they have new featured snippets called multifaceted featured snippets. And they're first focusing it on the multi-intent query. So, for example, do garden need full sun, and you can see it says, all right, here's one for what garden plants need full suns and what counts as full sun. So the intent of the query can mean two different things to Google, and that's why Google's showing these multifaceted feature snippets. Of course, Bing did something like this a few months ago, and now this is kind of Google playing catch up, which is not always the case, but in this case it is the case that they're playing catch up. John Mueller hinted at that Google's looking to keep the Google property sets for the new Google Search Console, but kind of make it smarter and easier to use. He wasn't really clear on it. He basically answered a question, are you going to keep the property sets? And he said property sets are on our list of things to keep, but we want to do them smartly, so I don't have a simple ETA. I guess they're still thinking about how they're going to do it, what they're going to do, and so forth. And it might be on the reporting end saying, a checkbox to show HTTPS and HTTP, checkbox to show www and non-www, and so forth. It'll be fairly interesting to see how Google handles it, if at all. But of course, we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens. Google says that the meta refresh redirects do work, but they still don't recommend it. And Google has said several times, we've covered it numerous times here, that you should not use meta refresh for redirects. Use a 301 or a 302 when you're doing redirects. But John Mueller says it does work if you do use it after they figure out what it is. And once they figure out what it is, they have to crawl a couple times, I believe. They will go ahead and use it. They don't recommend it because two reasons. One is UX. It keeps the page in the browser history. So if you click back, it will keep redirecting you, so forth. And the processing time, they need some more time to see it, and it takes a little longer for Google to pick up on those. So use 301s or 302s to make it easier for Google. Google talked a little bit about reading levels again, and we covered this a couple months ago, where Google said there is no algorithm for reading level and so forth. But we did discuss years ago that Google has a reading level score. They haven't discussed it in a while. Maybe they got rid of it. In any event, Google's John Mueller said, we do a lot of things. We do a lot of things to try to determine the relevance of pages for a user's query. Complicated pages can be great for the right audience or query. Simpler pages for others. Speak in the language of your audience. Present your awesomeness in a way they can understand. Again, you have very technical users, speak in a very technical manner. You have very novice users, speak in a very layman's term. If you have very academic users, use academic terms. It really depends on what you're doing. Of course, some people might land on you that are not your right audience. Not much you can do about that. Google's goal is to make sure the right audience lands on your specific pages. Google posted a little note about the crawl stats bug. There was a crawl stats bug in the thing we discussed this last week, I believe, but now they officially documented that this crawl stat, which dropped significantly for a lot of people in terms of times to download a page, was a bug, and you should just be aware of it. It's not a major deal, just a reporting bug. Google said Googlebot cannot crawl custom CSS properties. So CSS custom properties is a specific thing that's only supported in future versions of Chrome. And Googlebot is based off of Chrome 41. And if you're using lots of vars and so forth in your navigation, Google's not going to be able to figure out what your website's about. So be careful of that. Eric from Google actually had the issue himself, and he figured it out, and so forth. Google's Fetch as Google tool now supports hashbangs. So supposedly this actually was supported last few months ago or in the fall. That's what John Mueller said. But basically now they used to support it in 2014. They stopped supporting it. So if you wanted to crawl a hashbang URL, it wouldn't work for a few years actually. And now they brought it back. So if you want to use the Fetch as Google tool and you have a site that has hashbang URLs, feel free to test it out and use it. Google said if your URLs or some of your URLs in your sitemap file are not being indexed, making a new sitemap and putting those URLs in that new sitemap is not going to help it get indexed. So it has nothing to do with that. Don't try to do that. It's not going to make much of a difference. Google said they hope in the near future, to clarify how Google indexes, crawls, etc., lazy loaded content and images. So we talked about this for a while, that Google can't see lazy loaded content on mobile, that they have issues indexing images that are lazy loaded and so forth. But for speed purposes, Google doesn't like to have lazy loaded content because it makes the pages faster to load and so forth. That being said, Google hopes to clarify how you can actually make your lazy loaded content SEO friendly and search engine friendly and so forth. Google launched Word Coach a couple weeks ago outside of the US to help users expand their English language skills. It looks like this. You do a search for the word, and then you can say which word is similar to the word strength. And you can actually click on it. And I assume Google's using this for their AI improvements. At the same time, it actually helps people improve their language abilities in English language. And it's only visible on mobile outside of the US. Google AdWords has launched a new tool specifically called Speed Scorecards, which estimate the impact of your revenue. So you can put in your domain name, and then in the calculator, you could actually go ahead and say your average monthly visits, the average order value, and the conversion rate. And if you take the slide and say, if I improve my site speed from 3 seconds to 1.2, you will increase your earnings or decrease your earnings, et cetera, using this tool. Again, it's another tool for getting people to make their sites faster. Google is testing, or maybe they have launched in the EU regions, new shopping search carousels. We discussed it a few times already, and it looks like they have picked this design, where they actually show by Google, and then by a different shopping search engine. And we've seen this before as well, but it looks like it's actually rolling out now, which is interesting. Google has redesigned their keyword planner tool, so it looks more like it's built into the new Google AdWords interface. Here's a screenshot of what it looks like. Google has officially announced the Google Dance in Tokyo. It looks like they're not having it in the Mountain View Googleplex campus, but it will be on April 3rd in Tokyo. So if you're in that region, you might want to go apply. You can apply now and through, I believe, March 5th at this URL. So go to the site and you can apply there. And on March 8th, they will notify those who were accepted to be at the Google Dance. There's only 200 people. It's free to go to, but you have to be accepted and you have to apply. The day has come. Rand Fishkin has officially left Moz. He's still a significant, I think, a 24% shareholder, largest shareholder there on the board of directors, but he is no longer there on a day-to-day basis. He has started his own company, a new company, second company that he started called Spark Toro. It's basically an intelligence, an audience type of data and marketing tool set. He's going to be, writing about that a little bit more. And obviously, Rand has contributed a tremendous amount to the SEO community we discussed before. We wish him much success at Spark Toro, and I'm sure he will do really great there. And thank you for everything you've done, Rand and Moz. Of course, we like to honor, the search community like to honor certain personalities, and this week we honored these personalities: Dan Shore, Shari Thoreau, Tad, I cannot pronounce your name, so I apologize. It's right over here if you want to see it. Michael Martinez and Linda Bouquet. So thank you all for all your contributions to the SEO community. We really do appreciate everything you've done. And that pretty much recaps the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. This is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com over the past week. Again, today is Friday, March 2nd. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.